Welcome back to Supporting Physician Spouses. I'm Katie, and today's episode is extra special because I get to flip the script and sit down with my co-host and dear friend Kendra Harvey. Normally, she's the one asking thoughtful questions and guiding our conversation, but today, she's in the hot seat. In this episode, she shares what it was really like walking through medical school, residency, fellowship, and beyond with her husband, navigating loneliness, resilience, and how she built her coaching business, It Gets Better Now, to support physician spouses everywhere. Let's jump in. Kendra, I'm so excited to have this opportunity to interview you. So, welcome.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the hot seat.
I know. Funny how, this is how we're normally just talking to one another, but yeah, it's different when you're in the hot seat a little bit.
Well, and usually I'm the one who gets to ask questions.
True. That's true. Very true. Ha ha.
Tables are turned.
Yeah, tables are turned.
I know, it got me.
I want to start because everyone's medical journey is different, and yours is a little bit different too. Can you share with us where your journey in medicine began alongside your husband?
Sure. I met my husband in 2003. He was a third-year med student, and I was working full-time at that point. And we met at a church-sponsored institute event. I heard him speak. And so he was the front seat kind of person, always talking to the instructor, and I was a back seat kind of girl, listening and never actually participating. And I remember thinking that he would be a really good husband.
Wow.
And then a couple of weeks later, we met face to face through divine intervention, and that sealed the deal.
That's pretty amazing. He made the time to go to this class. There was no institute attending with my spouse when he was a third-year medical student. Priorities were different, obviously.
Yeah, but when you're 31 and single, you go to all of the things and you do all of the things.
Pre-dating apps. That's awesome. I wonder, you jump in third year of his medical school. Did you feel like you needed to get caught up on what this life was going to be like? Was there kind of a transition period to understand?
I was naive in many ways, like anybody going into something new that you haven't experienced before. And I had recently been divorced and was really open to any type of life that wasn't the kind of life that I had just left. But our situation was also a little bit unique, and maybe not. I'm sure there are some people who are listening who can relate to this, but I was 28, he was 31. We got married quickly, and then we had our first child quickly. I was adjusting to so many things all at the same time without a support system. I didn't have my own family that lived nearby. My husband, his parents were there, but his sister had just had a baby previously, and that was the first grandbaby, and she was going back to work, and I was going to be staying home. And so I was adjusting to not only being married, but it was being married and then working full-time while pregnant, and then having a baby, and then no longer having a community because all of my friends were at work.
Yeah.
And when you're not there, those friendships have a way of not really lasting because they're built under that system.
Yep.
It was doubly isolating because I didn't have a support system established as a married person. And then it was me and this newborn baby at home by ourselves all the time, feeling really lonely.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly what that question was, but that was part of an answer.
Your transition to the medical journey. And yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was here, do all of this at once. Be newlywed, be married to somebody in medical school, and have a new baby and have no support system, really.
Right.
I don't want to say really, because in case my husband's parents are listening, they really were quite amazing, but it still felt very isolated and lonely. And
right. Well, yeah. This isn't the same, but I remember being in college and feeling really lonely. I didn't have like peer friendships, and I would go home every weekend. I lived like an hour and a half away from home, and it almost made me feel more lonely to be with parents. I was like, I love you. I'm grateful to have a place to land, but this isn't the kind of social interaction that I'm wanting right now.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said of like a grandparent's love, craving that peer relationship and someone who's in a similar phase of
Yeah.
life and can just resonate and just fills your cup in different ways.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it probably doesn't help that my husband's first and second year, he lived next to campus. And then he moved his third year. And so he wasn't living near campus. And so I wasn't meeting any of his friends. I mean, his third and fourth year, they're away doing rotations, and there wasn't any type of accidentally running into somebody.
Right.
That didn't exist. And then he took a year off to do research in the middle of third and fourth year.
Oh.
All of his classmates then went on to graduate, and then we were still there and still without anybody.
Yeah.
That would be the sad story that I tell about that time. It was
Tough.
just so sad and lonely and isolated. It was very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you already answered it, but the next question I had was, as you reflect back on your training years, what is like a key moment or maybe a couple words that come to mind to kind of encapsulate your experience? Because you're growing your family, you're moving a lot, your husband is ambitious enough to pursue neurosurgery. What are your words?
It was rigorous. I mean, when somebody picks a specialty that demands a lot, that's not a one-sided transaction. It demands a lot from everybody.
Yeah.
And it was a very demanding time for our family. And for me personally, it was very demanding. That would be my one word, demanding.
That's a great word. So I think it was in training that you began to write this anonymous blog, right? While he was in residency.
Yes.
You did that
Yeah.
on and then off again for 7 years. And then you had the spark, maybe coaching might be interesting. Tell us a little bit about how you entered into life coaching with the specific audience in mind of physician spouses.
From the moment I felt in medical school isolated and alone, I'm like, I cannot be the only person who is feeling this. And yet I felt like the only person in the world who was feeling like that. And again, this is 2003, 2004 was when my son was born. And I don't remember Facebook being a thing. Then I don't remember social media being a thing. Yeah. It wasn't quite there yet. But I remembered I went to my sister, her husband was in the police academy. And I went to his graduation, and I was so impressed by how well they were taking care of families. They did such a good job. And I thought, where is this in the medical community? And at the same time, I have a sister who was married to somebody in the military. So same thing, like they really do a good job taking care of families. And I'm like, well, where is this for medical spouses and medical families? It just didn't sit right with me. And we moved for residency, and I thought for sure maybe there would be some type of support group or spouse group or a family group, something, and there wasn't. And at this point, I've got 2 little kids, and I'm like, I'm not the person to start this right now. Like, I might have been a little bit entitled. Like, this should already be here.
Yeah.
Why should I, with 2 little kids, have to be the one who starts something? Surely there's somebody else who could do this, because really I needed it. I needed to be able to meet the people who my husband was working with. And it would have just been nice to have that.
Right.
But his program and that system did not have that available. And so I plugged along for a while. And you've heard me say before that people can do anything for a little while. You can force yourself to do things. You can make the most out of a bad situation for a little while. It was the end of my husband's 5th year. I'm pregnant with our 4th baby, and my husband is talking about doing a fellowship. And that was never part of the deal. The deal was, we're going to get in, we're going to knock it out, and we're going to get out.
Right.
But he wanted to do a fellowship, and I was pregnant and tired, and I'm like, I don't think I can do this. I can't add on extra years. At that time, his residency was 6 years. So he had done his research year during med school. He did 6 years of his neurosurgery residency, and then he was going to go and do a 1 or 2 year fellowship.
But at year 5, you're like, I have this year and 1 year left. Like, maybe I can do this.
Yeah, months of 5th year left, the 6th year.
And then he's
and
like,
I'm like,
actually,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh.
He's like, no, and I'm like, okay. I just remember being so mad. Just just mad. And at this time, there were Facebook groups and there were other things, but I'm like, I got to let this out. But I'm certainly not going to do it in public where anybody is going to see who this is. And so I did. I started writing an anonymous blog, and every day for a year and a half, I just wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And I met other physician spouses along the way who were also writing. But it was like, okay, there are more people like me out here. And where are the organizations? Where are the groups? Where are the things that people are actually doing it? Because what we're finding online is we're finding groups of spouses that are just sharing words online. But where could I meet somebody in person? Where can I go to get education? Where can I find out about all of the things that could really help me? And I joke with organizations like the AMA Alliance or with Dr. Wayne Sotil. You guys existed, but I couldn't find you. And it's not because I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
I was looking hard. But for whatever reason, they did not cross my path. I started the blog in 2011, right before my daughter was born. Wrote, like you said, on and off heavily for that first 2 years. And then we got to what is considered the other side, like, oh, it gets better. Because that was kind of the phrase that was popular in Facebook groups at that time. Just hold on, it gets better.
Yeah.
Hold on, it gets better. And I got to the other side and I'm like, crap, this isn't better. This is not what I thought it was going to be. I can't even pinpoint exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I just thought it was going to be different. Like somehow this was magically going to be different. I was going to feel different. My relationship was going to all of a sudden be amazing. Life was just going to be good. And I think underneath that is really the internalized belief that I had that maybe money does solve all problems.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I thought maybe if I just had, really, what does everybody who's going through medical school and residency want? They just want a house. They want a place where they can put down roots, where they can have a family, where they don't have to move again, and it's beautiful and it's lovely and it feels great. And I had a beautiful home. And it still was not great. And I'm like, what is the problem? Something is wrong here, because this is what I thought was going to fix all of the things. We have a home, we're stable, we have money coming in, which was by far greater than what we had ever had before.
Yeah.
And it was still more of the same. And so I'd stopped writing because it didn't feel good anymore. Because I'd use those words for other people too. Like, don't worry, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. This is going to end and it's going to get better. Now looking back, I can see behaviors that are repeated over time that become habits. They don't magically disappear. There is real work that has to be done to correct those behaviors, to correct those patterns of interacting with one another, to really set things on a right course. It requires work. And I think that's the piece that nobody gets told is it's going to take some work to prevent yourself from ever getting to that point. But if you do get to that point, it's going to take some work to get out of it. And the things that you have been counting on to fix it, like vacations and cars and houses and all of the things you're looking forward to because you can't have them now, it's really not the thing.
Can I ask, what helped get you and your husband on a course that you're like, now it's getting better?
It was a long time coming. So I think part of your last question was, how did I end up life coaching and doing all this other stuff? And this was part of it. My husband was working as a trauma neurosurgeon in a county hospital downtown, 14 days of call a week, like a week, 14 days of call a month. It felt like a week. It wasn't exactly what he wanted to do. He had done his fellowship in neurosurgical oncology, so dealing with brain tumors. And in a trauma center, there's not necessarily a lot of brain tumors coming in. But we were back in Arizona where we wanted to be because that's where our family was. Because we thought that was also going to make it better if we could get back to where our family was. And so we've got a job where our family is and it's not better. And, kind of always looking for better. You got offered a job at a new hospital to start a program, and we were really excited about that. We went over there thinking that would be better because it would be closer, and that had its own level of problems. Eventually, within the year, the hospital decided they no longer wanted to offer neurosurgery. They were just going to keep being a community based hospital, which is fine.
Yeah.
And it was time to look for another job. And this time I was like, okay, if we're leaving, it had better be for the right job, the right time, right place.
Yeah.
He ended up getting a job here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which has turned out great, but it wasn't without its obstacles. And it was in that moment as we left Arizona and we came here that I'd kind of been hearing about life coaching. Jody Moore was my first introduction to life coaching. I really liked what she said. And I'm like, there's something there for me. And I don't know what it is, but I had listened and she mentioned who she trained with and where she went. And so I did some research and looked into that. And I'm like, if we're moving, then I'd really like to do this. And so I did, knowing that that's the only thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to gain skills. I wanted to gain tools, and then I wanted to use those to help people who were in the same position that I had been for so long and felt like I still was in even after training. Those skills have been very valuable to me and hopefully to others also. So I always say, I really don't coach anybody. It's just physician spouses. Nobody else. Those are the only people that I want to save my energy and time for.
Oh, Kendra, that's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It does feel so good when we've been through things as individuals to be able to see someone on a similar path and be like, I can coach you through it, right? You're not going to lead them through it. You're not going to say, do what I did. But you're like, maybe think about things a little differently to boost your morale as you continue on this hard journey. Oh.
Yeah. Going back to the other piece, I was in dozens of Facebook groups, and it was just so frustrating to me to see the same type of things coming up. And all the advice anybody could ever really give was, hang in there, it's going to get better. Yeah. It didn't ever feel like it was grounded in anything. It was just like, that's what I did. You should do this. Yeah. And it's like, well, that doesn't always work. Every person is so individual and unique, and their life circumstances are so different that what worked for you might not work for somebody else.
Right.
It's like somebody should really do something. And so I thought, I will try to do something.
And I love what you've built. I mean, your business is called It Gets Better Now. You built something for yourself, right?
Yes.
It was what you wanted and are benefiting from.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of where the magic happens somehow. It's like, wow, we're kindred spirits, and I'm able to help other people as I'm healing myself in my own journey.
You've really landed on something. It's hard to help somebody first if you haven't kind of been in a similar situation. Mm-hmm. Is it possible? Yes, but it's so much easier if you've already been where they've been. And the other part of that, do it for yourself. And I don't think that's selfish in the least bit.
Yeah.
Because you really can't help somebody unless you've figured it out. That's been the hardest part. You don't have to know everything, but you have to be farther enough ahead that you can actually help. I feel like that's my unique gift. I feel like I'm farther enough ahead. I remember it so well. I documented it, for heaven's sakes. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've always wanted to do, is just help people. Everybody needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, for sure. And a friend, mentor along the way. It's just bonus.
If I could have had somebody to talk to that was 5 years ahead of me, 10 years ahead of me, somebody who could tell me what's really going on, or to know somebody, that would have been huge. And again, I realize I'm probably sounding like a dinosaur because this was all a long time ago. And luckily we have so many resources, and there's so much potential for connection online and through podcasts like this. I'm sure there isn't anybody who has the exact same situation that I did, because the world is completely different. Yeah. But the feelings and the sentiment are the same.
And I think that what you are still working toward, getting this support to be systemic, like it is in other fields, right? Like that still isn't quite there for physician families. So someday it's like, oh, maybe we'll be obsolete and the system's in place.
I know.
Where no one has to go searching for things.
Katie, you were speaking to my goal. I work with the American Medical Association Alliance, and that is really my personal mission there, is like, there's got to be an organization who does this. Not only that, in our medical schools, we need to have it. In our residency programs, we need to have it. It needs to be built into that organization, that we look after and we take care of families, because it can't fall on just one organization. But I think we're getting really close to it. Earlier this summer, I spoke on a panel at the Texas Medical Association. I was on their side talking to a room full of doctors, and they were very, very interested in families. And I'm seeing that everywhere I go, that people are paying attention and they're looking for help and they're looking for ways that they can incorporate families more. So I'm really encouraged that in the future, our medical schools, our residency programs will have something already in place. So nobody ever has to wonder, where do I go or what do I do?
Yeah, that's so cool. How amazing to be a little bit of a pioneer in this, right? One of many. There are many hands who are really interested in building the system.
There is a growing community. People who have been in this space for a long time doing great work, like Haley Harlock at The Flip Side Life, Lisa Muhlenbein, she did her PhD dissertation on physician-spouse burnout. Our friend Sarah Grimmer, same thing, finished her PhD dissertation, published academic research on the secondary trauma that physician-spouses experience. Elizabeth Landry with MedCommons. I'm probably forgetting some other people who are really invested in making the system better. I'm just pleased to be one of several pioneers in that area.
Okay, here's my last question for you. So,
Sure.
As you reflect on your own medical journey, which, it's a lifetime pursuit, and as you coach other spouses through it, what do you love about the medical journey?
Oh, what do I love? I won't lie. There is a lot to love. It is hard, but it's also pretty amazing. All in all, probably freedom. I'll have to think about that, because the medical journey as a whole, I would say what I previously answered. The medical journey out of training, I would say freedom, in the sense like personal freedom. I feel like I have a lot more freedom to pursue the things that I want to pursue. I do have a lot of freedom and independence because my husband does work as much as he does. That gives me an opportunity to do all sorts of things that maybe I wouldn't if he were around more often, because we would be doing things together. It feels really good to not have to worry anymore about buying groceries or getting a second car or, getting kids ready for school. When I say freedom, it's really amazing to not have that to be thinking about anymore.
I love that. Beautiful answer. Kendra, thank you so much. We're so lucky
Katie.
and grateful that we get the weekly episodes with you and to learn more about you and get coached by you. So thank you.
Well, you're kind. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me, because otherwise I'd be doing something else, but this is way more fun.
It really is. Okay.
Thanks, Katie.
What a gift to hear Kendra's story in full. I know so many of you listening will resonate with her honesty, maybe the feelings she had, the questions, and also the hope she's found along the way. If you want to connect more with Kendra and her coaching, you can find her at Kendra_itgetsbetternow on Instagram, where she continues to coach and encourage physician spouses in every stage of the journey. And if today's episode encouraged you, take a moment and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps more physician spouses like you find our community. You can also come join the conversation with us on Instagram at Supporting Physician Spouses. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Until next time, know that you are not alone in this journey, and we're cheering you on every step of the way. See you next time.